We are live. Welcome back, coaches, to the latest installment of the our Coaches Connect call. I'm Coach Jeremy, and I am joined by a lovely group of coaches and students and PN professionals in the making here today. And Coach Ronald, you had a discussion that you wanted to bring to the table, particularly about how to attract new clients. Feel free to give us any other background information you may have about your current situation and what it is that you want to achieve with your coaching business.
Yes, for me, I've uh, embarked on this new journey as far as wanting to serve more people and wanting to, start my online coaching business because I really don't have presence online. And I think one of the things I'm gonna couple with just aside from personal training is nutrition within the coaching itself. So I wanted to know from you, Jeremy, what are some of the ways you would go about attracting new coaching clients, in particular when it comes to nutrition? I believe, at least from my experience, I think one of the most challenging parts about getting people where they want to be or where they want to get to be is ultimately the nutrition, the eating part, right? So I want to know from you, like, what are some of the ways you would go about attracting
Sure thing.
new coaching
Uh,
clients?
and as people on this call know, this is probably the most common, frequent question that we discuss. I, of course, have my own thoughts and opinions that I would be happy to share with you in a second, Ronald. But we have other coaches on this call here. So I want to know, coaches, if you are currently in the same spot as Ronald, or you have been in the same position where you are starting to get your first few online nutrition specific coaching clients, uh, what is it you tried? How did that go for you? Feel free to share some of your experience with us as well. Billy and Mona, I may draw on your experience a little bit more here as you're both on camera. Hopefully, you don't think I'm picking on you, but I would love to hear from both of you if you have the opportunity.
Um, I never coached somebody. I only gave scientific inputs, let's say.
Fair.
Uh,
So I think from last week you were sharing a little bit about your experience, and your primary and or primarily you were previously in more of a academic setting.
yes.
Mhm.
Uh, Basically, I'm a chemist, so I have a PhD in chemistry. Then I had some of my children, some problems, and so on. And
Mhm.
I was directed to nutrition. I also had some experience with dietitians and so on. And for me, from my point of view, they were not not enough trained, or I
Mhm.
didn't get the services I expected. And then I said,
Fair.
okay, I have to study by myself. And last year I did a certificate of advanced studies in nutrition at
Mhm.
Zurich University, ETH Zurich. And then I learned about nutrition for prevention for chronic disease.
Gotcha. So you noticed that there wasn't a ready-made solution for the population that you were working with. So you decided to say, "Hey, I'm going to get the necessary knowledge and then create that solution for my population."
Yes, but I learned a lot of science, a lot of okay, nutrition, physiology, and anatomy, and all about chronic diseases and how to eat and what to do. So a lot of science. But I realized I don't know how to work with people. I never even an assessment. I never did an assessment and so on, and I didn't know how to.
Fair.
Because I'm supposed to work in research,
Right.
mostly research.
And yes, I assume that handing your clients a research abstract and saying, follow the recommendations in this study probably doesn't work super well for nutrition coaching, especially for adolescents.
Yes, yes, and I'm allowed to work in hospitals, but I don't have this background, assessments and how to work with people. And I also
Gotcha.
noticed I'm going into explaining in a too complicated way. For example,
Gotcha.
I have a friend. There are a lot of friends. They ask me to help them with plans or with the more medical
So
problems.
Mona, I'll pause you here for a second because this
Yes.
actually sounds like it would be very useful and it would be a useful and interesting conversation that we can go into after we get Ronald some
Mhm.
feedback here.
Yes,
But
yes,
let's keep this conversation going and we'll circle back to it in a quick second. But as I
yes,
mentioned, Billy, I was gonna see if you had any input here for Ronald as well. Maybe you're in the same position as well, where you're building your business.
yes.
Maybe you are also in the same position, Billy, where you are looking for clients. Do you have any feedback for Ronald for where he is in building his business?
Right, so I'm in a very similar situation. I've been a gym trainer for about 19 years, and I want to try to move everything pretty much online. I actually just got certified through Performance Precision Nutrition about a week ago, so I'm like very new to like the online thing and everything. So I mean, I've got nutrition certifications through like other avenues and everything though, but
Mhm.
I want to like move everything more like online and like see what that's all about. So I figured I'd kind of sit in, just kind of like observe and see what other people have to say and everything.
Please, yeah, I mean, well, we're pleased to have you here. And it's good that both of you have a similar background. Uh, Rennie, you're the other person here who's on video as well. Maybe some other folks will jump on in a second. But I wanted to see, do you have any feedback? Are you also like Billy and Ronald in the same position where you were looking to transition from an allied field into more online coaching? Maybe you're a little bit
Yeah,
further down the track. Where are you in
uh,
your professional development?
so I am a student and I'm doing the PN level 1 right now.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't have any experience with working with clients. And from where I stand, I see social media is the easiest way to attract new clients. However, I like what I see from my experience with social media because I've already started sharing some things, and I see most people being very skeptical about all
Hmm.
these approaches because I feel like they see the things more of like black and white. So it's either you go in 100% dieting and limiting yourself, or you eat whatever you want, and it's so hard to show that there is a balance between those two. So I'm kind of struggling in trying to find some sweet spot where I manage to show people that it's actually manageable. Yeah, and hoping that until I finish my studies, the level 1, I think it's in 2 months, we'll finish
Hmm.
the guided. Yeah, I will hopefully be getting more reach and yeah, find clients from there.
Fantastic. And I mean, this may be another conversation that we can delve into after we go through kind of Ronald's discussion that he's brought forward and also what Mona shared. So we'll keep these ones on the back burner for right now. And Christina, do you have any feedback specifically for Ronald?
Hi, once again. Well, Ronald mentioned that he's coming from the perspective of being a personal trainer. I
Correct.
personally have trained clients for about 6 years before doing nutrition for myself. The difference is that I'm working for somebody else. So we kind of collaborated and created the program to be added as a full wellness journey for clients. So we added nutrition and I got certified and stuff like that. So I'm kind of mimicking with the suggestion of what I personally went through, even though I'm working for somebody else. But Ronald, since you've been working with clients at the gym, the best suggestion would be try incorporate nutrition with already existing clients and say, hey, I've just certified. This is what I'm adding on as a part of my services. Will you be interested? Because I've seen personally, like through learning experience, and maybe somebody who is a nutrition coach in addition to the personal trainers, right? So, and just I've seen that nutrition is a big key, like you said in the beginning, right? You know that's the key to have results. And this is, and kind of come up with the other, like a niche, like who are you seeing as your ideal client? Is it like women after pregnancy? Is it younger population, like teenagers who, have certain worries and concerns about their look and stuff like that. Like, find your niche and then kind of create the program based on who you're trying to help and what your program is going to be consisted of. But you already have clients. That's the best way to start. You already have clients who trust you. You build relationship with them. It's just more like adding on and showing them the beauty of how nutrition is impacting the overall results.
Fantastic answer, Christina. Knocked it out of the park. Also contains many of the things that I would also share. So for both Billy and Ronald, as people who are already in an allied industry offering personal training, the goal is then to take what you know and the relationships that you've already developed and then add on an additional element to it. As Christina mentioned, as Ronald mentioned, nutrition is incredibly valuable and tied into the same efforts that they're putting in the gym. Typically, folks, their results or whatever it is that they want to see from a performance standpoint or whatever they want to gain from their time in the gym will be enhanced by having some mindful nutrition strategies. Very basic things that are all covered in PN level 1 and don't require them to take vastly different steps than some of the things that they're already doing for you. I'll share my personal experience, like how did I also transition from in-person coach to mostly online professional. It was a transition that took several years. Could have potentially sped it up a little bit if I knew along that path what I know now. But it started with, first client was, who are the people that I already train and that I'm excited to see them? That is, I don't know, you as both trainers, if you have a large enough roster, there may be some clients where you're like, yay, I get to spend an hour with this person. I love training this person. They always give me a great effort. They ask really insightful questions. We have good conversation and good rapport. When it comes time to renew the contract or to pay for sessions, it's just credit card down and then we're talking about what they're doing for the weekend. There's no hard sell here. That is typically someone who may be open to working with you in other ways to develop or to continue their personal development. So if you have those people in your mind already, they would be the first people that I would approach and to let them know, hey, I'm trying this new thing. I haven't got the systems fully fleshed out yet, but I would love to try it with you because you've been such a great client to me. You can offer it as a standalone service. You can offer it as a complementary service. The difference being, how do we want to structure payment for it? It could be this is already included in your coaching. Easiest way to probably get started. You can say this is going to be an additional cost based on what you're already paying per session or per month. For me personally, I was seeing most clients 2 to 3 times per week. And for them, I just build it as this is going to be the cost of 1 additional session per month. So if you see me 12 times per month, you're now going to be paying for 13 times. And that, what does that entail? We will sit down and have a separate session to talk about nutrition for 15 minutes once per week in one of those sessions. If you don't want to use any of your time for nutrition, then we can also do it as a little bit more expensive version, but we'll have those conversations outside of the gym floor. So we'll book a time and work together from there. So hopefully that gives you some idea of how you can structure it. In terms of payment and location, those are probably the 2 things that are the next steps after who do I want to approach. So we go, who are my favorite people? Who are the people who I think would be more receptive to this? Maybe there are people who, like, I see them consistently. They never reschedule sessions. They're really easy clients. We have good rapport. They've asked me questions about nutrition in the past. They're the people who are the most likely to put their hand up for this thing and who would be best served by it. Next, from there, I need to decide, do we have these conversations as add-ons to what we're currently doing? Does it take out time from our current training sessions, or do we schedule additional time for it? And then the final thing that you want to decide is, how do I want to deliver this? Are we delivering this in a face-to-face manner, or am I using an online platform like ProCoach, which is the PN software that we use to deliver our programs for our one-on-one and group training coach clients? So those are three things to consider there to get started. Ronald, have you put any thought into those things? Do any of those things resonate with you?
I would have to say no. I haven't made an effort to apply any of those techniques with my existing clients. One could say, well, I can say I've just been comfortable with just offering personal training and
Mhm.
coupling nutrition coaching with it. Though I will give nutritional guidance and things of that nature.
Mhm.
However, I haven't made it a focus to really implement that as, like you said, somewhat of an add-on or a separate service when it, like you said, meeting 15 minutes out of the session once a week, or doing it separately where we meet outside of the session to talk about nutrition. So no.
Right. And I mean, I'll tell you why the way that you're currently doing it sucks. And I had to learn this for myself, and it took a while to learn it as well. Uh, because answering questions, I'm not saying it's like, oh, gatekeep your information and keep that knowledge to yourself. That's not useful either to your client. Uh, the reason why that method sucks is because typically those conversations go in one ear and out the other. We're doing a heavy set of back squats. We have a minute and a half rest. They ask me about protein, mention that they need to change something in their breakfast. I give them a few recommendations. That's where the conversation ends. There's no follow up. There's no way for us to track progress. There's no way to know if that conversation has landed in any way uh, because it just lacks systems. And this is kind of one of the things that I've noticed as well. One with myself as a trainer, transitioning to more nutrition coach, but also it seems to be quite common with a lot of trainers who are looking to make that transition is the thing that we lack is not leads or clients. Because if you're a trainer and it's like, oh, I already have a few clients, I have new clients approach me quite regularly. It's like I have all those things figured out. That is my potential pool of people that I can offer both services to. The thing that I currently lack is a system. So I lack a system for identifying who would be a potential user for this service. I lack a system for delivering the service, and I lack a system for paying or charging for the service. So the way that you're starting right now is like it's actually quite a beneficial spot in that you have these conversations with people regularly. You have some practice with that. Now the goal is to how do I create a system around it? So first point of order would be any one of those three would work. I would likely decide who are the people that pop up front of mind for me as people who engage in these conversations regularly and who'd be receptive to them. Figuring out the other stuff in terms of like platform and payment, I would probably go platform second. So you have an opportunity to pick a platform, explore it a little bit, understand how it works so that when you are ready to deliver and charge for it, you're a little bit ahead of the curve on your clients. So when they ask you stuff like, "Oh, how do I submit measurements?" or how do we communicate? How do I submit food journals? Any of those things, you have those questions that you can already respond to them. And also, shameless plug for ProCoach. Especially if you're going one-on-one with your coaching for nutrition clients, I think ProCoach is a fantastic choice, specifically for new coaches, because so much of the systems-based work is already done. You don't have to create any curriculum. You don't have to create uh, any of like the messaging platform. Like all of that stuff already exists. You just watch the intro videos, get a good sense of what it's like to work with, create your own demo account so you can see things on both sides. And then you also have support from us in this call, as well as the wider community. Enzo, you have your hand up.
Yes, hi Jeremy, how are you?
Good, how are you doing? Do you have something to contribute to
Awesome.
this conversation?
Yeah, I actually had a follow-up question of getting clients. So that's kind of the position that I am right now, that I want to start building clients, my clientele. I'm not a coach, so um, what approach? I've heard different approaches, and I don't know which one do you recommend. I've heard some people and coaches say do 3, 4, 5 sessions for free, get testimonials, results, and you feel more confident. You know what you're doing. And that's an approach. And other people say start out with paying clients. And my question to you is, which one do you recommend most? Because I've heard also some people, when they do free sessions, the clients don't have a lot of skin in the game, and it's really difficult to train them or coach them because they have not much commitment. What has been your experience? Would you recommend to do both 3, 4, 5 free sessions for a couple months, or go directly paying clients?
It is a great question. Just before we answer that question, Ronald, I'm going to come back to you. Do you have any follow-up questions? Anything else that you want to discuss here in this conversation, or are we good to move on?
So I just want to make sure I clarify and that I
Please.
was listening correctly. And first of all, well, thank you, Christina, and thank you, Jeremy, for for the insight. So I want to make sure that I understood correctly, or I was listening correctly. I know you said focus on both of you kind of agreed on, well, both of you agreed on like focusing on the ideal client, finding your favorite people that would be receptive to the coaching.
Mhm.
And I know you said secondly, focus on like creating a system. Like, and I know you plugged in like Pro Coach. I got to explore Pro Coach too, so I got to see what that's about. And then ultimately, like you said, yeah, I think that's the main two, right? Like finding your favorite people who would be open to the idea of nutrition coaching, and ultimately creating a system around that, and giving the deliverables as far as like from a platform like Pro Coach. I just want to make sure that was the
Yeah.
sum of. Okay.
That captures it well. I mean, like further details would be they kind of start to go into Enzo's question here regarding should I start with freebie clients and gather testimonials? Should I start with paying clients and then continue on as I mean to from there? And to reference some of the conversation that we had with Ronald, I'm not sure if you were in the room already at this time, Enzo, but the idea of like initial clients is often whoever puts up their hand and wants to work with me when I'm starting out is my ideal client. Anyone who is willing to engage in a coaching relationship with you initially, in my opinion, should be your ideal client. Just because you don't have a great deal of experience with diverse populations just yet, you will eventually find that there's commonalities between the clients that you enjoy coaching the most. They have similar problems, they have similar lifestyles, maybe to you, or they could be an incredibly different population from you, but you just find that you are able to answer their questions and help them solve their problems most effectively. So whoever is available initially, that's the people we're coaching. For Enzo, your question regarding should they pay or they not, or free, there's no right or wrong answer here. I would say what lowers the barrier to entry for the people around you, most of all. If your goal is to gain coaching experience and to start actually working with people, it's like understand that price to a certain degree is a barrier, but you have ways of overcoming it. It's like, yes, I can tell people I am just starting out, I'm here for the experience, free. Do you agree to that? And then I can learn from your coaching example and also share it as part of my marketing efforts moving forward. That's the way that you're going to compensate me for this. Does that seem fair? Some people will say yes, some people will say no. Between that, you can have like a sliding scale where it's like, I'm going to give you a heavily discounted version of what my coaching will cost. You can then agree with that person. It's like, hey, for the first 3 or 4 months, it's going to be at this rate. Once we get to the end of that term, then this will be my regular rate. So it'll be like, I charge $500 a month, but because you are starting with me early on and helping me work out some of the bugs, I'm going to give you this at a 50% discount. So make it sound like something that you feel confident with and that you believe that you're delivering an appropriate amount of value for. Those are the things that you really have to control for. And then if people just keep turning you down and they keep saying no because I can't afford it, then you kind of know what your market is willing to bear and you'll adjust accordingly.
I guess my question with that, following that is, with your experience when you do free sessions, do you feel that people, because they haven't paid anything, they take it serious and they follow the guidelines and the intakes, or you haven't seen much?
So I'll tell you, there was something I saw. Actually, it was because Kate posted something on Threads and it drew me into a conversation. And I was like, I've wasted so much time here. But one thing I saw was business coach puts up their anecdotal experience of $50 per month client. They said they'll pay you at the end of the program. $500 per month client asks if they can get a discount for this month. $5,000 per month client. They give you their credit card number and schedules their first appointment right away. And I assume that this fairy tale anecdote is meant to encourage people to charge a really high amount, because then you will get a certain type of client, and everything will be better if you charge more. I tend to believe that is largely BS. I can also go online and make up anecdotes of what I charge people. And I can also share personal experiences where it's like some of my sliding scale clients are my favorite clients. I'm working with someone right now who I charge $40 a month, and I love showing up to that session with them. They try so damn hard. And for them, the work that we're doing is really the difference between, are they going to keep a limb or lose a limb? That is by far and away like one of my favorite coaching experiences, because they're making real, literal strides in their life. To tell you to charge more because like people will try harder, it's like maybe, or maybe you'll just understand more what their financial situation is and what their disposable income level is. That's about all I think we can truly say on that front. But I see Kate popped on, so I'm assuming Kate has feelings about this topic as well.
I have feelings in general, lots of feelings, mostly feelings. Enzo, I actually would love to take a step back. Would you be open to doing that with me?
Sure.
So when you asked the question, you said something interesting. You opened with something interesting before you actually asked a question. You said, you know, some people say this and some people say that. Jeremy, what do you think? Do you remember saying that?
Mhm.
So here's the tricky part, and that's where I want to reflect that to you. Jeremy is just another person, and so am I. So what I'm curious about is, now that you have heard Jeremy's point of view here, and I could share mine and Ronald could share his, then what? Like, how do you go about evaluating these opinions that you have received from various people, right? Because like you came in here saying different people online are saying different things already. And now you sought out even more opinions from more different people. So now what?
I guess for me, it just opens up my eyes to not really go with just one perspective and not judge people by a specific situation or money. It just opens up myself a little bit more to be open to not just focus on one side or the other, and be just open with people and their specific situations that they're in individually.
Well, so you notice my bias always is for people to take action, right? Like as a coach, that's where my bias is, because people don't pay me for information as a rule. I don't show up as an expert. People pay me to coach them to action. And I show up to this space with that same bias, right? Like I'm here more so to guide all of you into action rather than to provide information that you can write down for your consideration. So, Enzo, I think what I'm kind of like poking you here a little bit, with your permission, is that like, how do we go? How do we help you to go from presenting different perspectives to actually making a decision and taking action on this thing that you're wondering about, right? Because you notice that collecting perspectives is this in-between step where a lot of us can get stuck forever. Where at the end of the day, as Jer actually pointed out, it kind of doesn't matter, because some people will say one thing and some people will say another thing and some people will say yet another thing, which means it depends, right? Which means different things can work. And some people never work with clients for free because they find that people who don't pay don't put in effort. And some people do sliding scale and some people only work. Like, do you notice how it gives you all of these options? But then where I'm hesitant is to let you off the hook here, right? And just give you a bunch of perspectives and say, you're welcome, Enzo. Because in my mind, I have done you a disservice as a coach because my bias is to help you get to a decision and to take a step. So how are you gonna, like, where are you gonna go from here with this information? Like, what will be your action step? You're with me?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I guess just to pick one and take action on that. It's either
Right.
I'm gonna do something free, go free, or specific payment. That's
And
a
which
decision
one,
that we can make.
like, are you leaning to one? Like, because obviously there are different perspectives. You've heard them. Is
Mhm.
there one that kind of like resonates with you more? Maybe for absolutely no reason that you can justify, but it just like feels
Probably, yeah, probably more like doing a couple sessions for free so I can get the confidence, like experience, and move faster.
cool. So, and like if you were to just do a couple for free, let's say first two, the biggest thing with free is that you kind of pick what the number is beforehand. I treat it the same way that you would treat intervals. You never get to reevaluate the number of intervals once you've started the interval workout. You guys know what I'm talking about? You decide on how many intervals you do before you start the intervals, yes? So you pick how many, and then you get very clear on the duration. So it doesn't drag on where your free client becomes your free client forever, but rather it's 2 clients for 3 months in exchange for a testimonial. And at that point, those folks can get an offer to become one of your paying clients, if so, if they would choose to continue. So you notice just like right there, we've already went a little bit further because I pushed you to pick. And then we made it a little bit more specific, right? And then now we could go even further and kind of say, okay, cool. Like Enzo, you've just made a decision. So don't you go seeking more perspectives on this thing. Promise? Yes. And now your next step is figuring out, so how do I go about getting those 2 people on, the 2 free people on? And that could be as simple as going on every single social media channel that you have and simply saying that. Starting out my coaching, looking for 2 free clients for 3 months, who's in? Cool?
Makes a lot of sense, Kate, because being specific, you feel a little bit more empowered and I
That's
have a direction set up how many people I'm going to be
that's
coaching
right.
for. Gives you more insecurity, but with something more specific, you have a target, you feel more confident to get those even 2 right people that are open to do that session. So thank you for that coaching there, Kate. Appreciate it.
Well, and that's what you do for clients, right? Like as a coach, you will do this for clients, and you probably have already done this for clients. Like, how do we make it specific for them, right? And when you show up to this space, Jeremy or myself can do that in that same way for you in the realm of coaching itself.
Got it. Thank you.
Cool. Okay, you better not let me catch you in the next coaching call seeking perspectives on this topic.
Got it.
Okay,
Thank you, Kate.
you're so welcome.
Yeah, feel free to tag us in that post so we know that it went live and action was taken.
For sure. Thank you, Jeremy.
You're very welcome. Before we move on from this conversation, does anyone else have any insight or perspective to share with Enzo? As long as you don't give him another point of perspective where he has to consider it. Cool. Rennie, I'm going to come back to you. You were mentioning kind of where you were starting in your journey and mentioned the idea of social media being a good jumping off point. Tell us a little bit more about if you've tried anything, what strategies have potentially worked for you, or what are you curious about?
Well, I'm very into the beginning of this social media journey, if I have to be honest. So it's been most of the time sharing some insights, tips. What have I done? I've also started a series now on the topic of the glucose, because it's kind of a very hot topic right now. But yeah, I don't have very specific strategy, and this is something that I definitely need to work on. I'm just still trying to figure out how all of this social media is working. So yeah, I'm in the very beginning, if I have to be honest.
Fair enough. Anyone have any thoughts on social media that they would like to share with Rennie? Kate, you know I'm looking at you as a social media maven here.
Hey, Jeremy, can I contribute something?
I didn't catch that, Z, but feel free to continue.
I say, can I contribute something here?
Yes, please.
So I was watching, I've been kind of in the same boat a lot of people here, want to kind of get started on the nutrition coaching to finish the PN1. I also thought of social media as one way to get a lot of client outreach. One of the problems, though, I find is that, so I come from a tech background, but it seems like the social media algorithms change so constantly. People are always fighting to figure out what they can, how to kind of hack them. But one thing I found that's consistent with a lot of people, at least to get people interested, was by actually doing the same kind of strategy Enzo was talking about, which is giving out value for free, right? At least some limited amount or some initial amount. And so some of the successful folks I've been following have been saying, you give so much out for free, for example, as ebooks, nutrition guides, things like that, that people would be convinced that if I pay you, then I will definitely get my money's worth. But that's one thought I had. But then the problem becomes, how do you actually get the eyes on your page and things like that? Like I have 25 followers that are all just of my own family and friends, right? So just some thoughts there from my side, and if you guys have something to put on that, I'd love to hear it also.
Fair enough. I mean, it reminds me of something that Kate said a moment ago in terms of giving away things for free. We are, at least this is my perspective as well. I'm not competing with books. Like, if someone wanted the information, if like that was the only service that I was able to provide for people, it's like I'd be competing with Google. And it's far easier to use Google than to contact me, set up an appointment, pay for my services. So I don't see myself as so much an information provider. Sometimes I'm a filter and help to keep people from digesting shitty information. But by and large, my role is to sit with people, have conversations with them, help them get to points where they can take appropriate actions that align with the goals that they've set out for themselves. If your strategy right now is like give all the information for free with maybe holding some stuff back, I would encourage you to give all the information for free. Anything that you think that would be valuable to the person that you want to coach is what I would instruct you to share.
Okay, thank you.
Also, on the idea of sharing on social media and it being a stressful experience, which I think for a lot of folks it is, myself included, finding a way that makes it feel like this is beneficial to me in the moment. So just like how we coach our clients when they're doing something where it's like, I don't have great knowledge in this area, I'm not super comfortable in this area, like starting a fitness routine for someone who is like never participated in sports and always hitting the washroom in gym class. Like that is how I picture myself showing up to social media. I don't love doing this, but when I do eventually post semi-regularly, it is mostly about what are my thoughts on this topic, and sitting down to collect my thoughts is the entire value of it. Ideally, it connects with other folks and they get to see what is my coaching approach, what is my rationale to things. And typically when I get a client who reaches out through social media, they'll say, hey, I saw the thing that you posted normally like a long time after I posted, and they're like, that resonated with me, and then I've been following you for a while. Can we set up a conversation? But it is just truly a collection of my thoughts, of conversations that rumble around in my head. And I think, how can I get greater clarity on this? It's typically when I write my thoughts. and then I put it up with a video or a picture. But the entire value of this exchange was me getting greater clarity on what it is that I think as a coach. Where do I plant my flag in this industry? And that's all my social media is. That being said, that's like a very, I think, low-hanging fruit approach to it. There are definitely more advanced strategies. There are people who sit down and spend countless hours plotting different campaigns, having similar themes and stuff like that. And I applaud these people. But if that makes your brain want to unscrew the top of your head and jump out, then maybe that's not the approach for you at this time.
Rennie, can you tell us a little bit more? Like, what's the struggle?
So I don't have any prior experience with fitness, for instance, so I don't have any clients at all. So I'm kind of trying to develop myself in this industry from scratch. So the goal is to find clients after I finish my level 1 studies. I'm kind of in the middle of my study. 2/3 already have passed. So my idea is to start developing my social media accounts from now, so that when I'm ready, I can actually have some larger following to get clients.
So
Because
what, I guess,
yeah.
what's been the struggle so far with the social media then? Like, so like as you're considering like posting regularly, developing a social media presence, let's say, what has been in your way? Because I don't think, like, from what I'm hearing, you're not showing up saying, I'm here, I've been posting every day for the last 3 months.
I've been doing that.
Okay,
I've been
cool.
doing, yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get a sense of, like, what
Yeah.
is the struggle exactly, right? So where do you feel like you're stuck?
I feel like the part where I actually have to start selling a service, because I've never had any experience in this, and it's like I don't have problem with showing up on social media because I've kind of done it already 150 times for the last 4 months because I've been posting consistently. But the thing is, how do I exactly position myself and sell my services and convince somebody without actually having a client prior? Because I don't have any testimonials, for instance. Does this answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, I really want to applaud you for posting consistently, because I kind of really think of anything we talk about here, consider the timeline, right? Like the time, like if a client comes to you and they say, I want to start exercising and I want to get bigger arms. Cool. How long will that take? 3 to 6 months, maybe 6 to 12 months, assuming you're very consistent, right?
Yeah.
Like, is that pretty reasonable? And I think that's a pretty reasonable timeline for social media as well. I am wondering whether a lot of the struggle that you're experiencing is around the very terminology that you're using around selling my services, positioning myself, testimonials. How do I convince people?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what
You
if we
put
were
it
to
very
throw,
well.
like, what if we were to just throw that out? Because, like, as you're talking about it, I'm getting stressed out.
Okay, so what exactly is it that you're suggesting?
Well, have you ever just said that you're looking for clients?
No. Okay. That's a good starting point, I guess.
Well, then we kind of want to break it down and make it simple, right? Because, like, think of
Yeah.
going to like a farmer's market. If there is somebody with a stall there selling freshly baked bread, like chances are they don't run after you, hitting you with bread over your head, right? Like, but you do need to know that they're there, and you do
Okay.
need to know that they're selling bread. So that's sort of
Yeah.
how I would really think of yourself, where everyone who follows you, friends, family, acquaintances, and strangers, whether you have 20 followers or 2,000, they should know that you're baking bread, or in this case, that you are learning how to coach nutrition, about to coach nutrition, and then ready to take on clients. And if you're almost there, And the idea is that you're not necessarily planning to take clients on until you're done. Well, this gives you a great opportunity to take the next 2 weeks, 2 months, however long, to pre-excite everybody. Because once I finish, I'll be taking on clients. That's much easier to talk about because guess what? You're not actually selling anything right now.
Yeah, okay, this definitely changes the perspective for me. Thank you
Right?
for the insight and for saying all of this.
Well, because
It
keep in
definitely,
mind, the easiest time, like, you've ever heard that expression, like the easiest time to look for a job is when you don't actually need a job,
yeah,
right? Like, so, like, the easiest time to talk about your one-on-one coaching is when you're not actually taking clients yet. Like, there's nothing to sell.
okay,
You're talking.
yeah, okay, makes sense. And definitely lift some things off my shoulders.
That's the kind of weight loss I do.
Yeah. I see you're doing pretty good job.
And you're
Yeah, but I
smiling.
mean, you should also kind of pat yourself on the back as well. You've been very consistently taking action on the thing that you actually have control of taking action over. You started to kind of lay those breadcrumbs down, and now the next natural transition, as Kate pointed out, is just let folks know, hey, eventually I will be taking clients. That does seem like a very logical step, and it's in line with an action that you're kind of already taking.
Okay, yeah, great. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you for your question. And Z, I guess, oh, dang it. Well, Z popped off, but before he did, mentioned that has like a small following on social media, and I assume that they were expressing concern that how do I grow this or how do I utilize this following to generate business? And if that is the case where it's like, I don't love social media, I don't have a following that I believe can generate the business that I want, especially if it's all family and friends, like you can also just take this conversation offline. Being an online coach just means that I deliver my services online. It means that I use some tool that is online based, like email or web chat, uh, to carry out my services. But it doesn't mean that the people that I work with have to be across the world. They can still be people who live on your block, in your village, in your town, wherever you are. Uh, so if those are the people who are showing up and you're having conversations with them, you can certainly be an online coach and still work with family members and friends. I assume Z is not going to give me a lot of feedback on that one, seeing as they've jumped off. But hopefully it's helpful for other people who are here as well. This is true. Follower count and like count is not the same as who is paying my bills.
I think we get so obsessed with followers. It's like, it seems like, you get like $100 per follower or something. Like, that's not really how that works, right? Like, it's the followers are eyeballs that don't necessarily convert to paying clients. And Emily was here a couple of weeks ago on one of the Coaches Connect, and she's a copywriting coach. So she's approaching 6 figures in her first year in business. She has like 700 followers on Instagram. They're super engaged. It's a super engaged community. She's very consistent with her posting. She's very consistent with her email, and she's very kind of like on brand in terms of exactly what it is she does. Meanwhile, there are people that come to her for her services that have 150,000 followers on Instagram, but are having trouble converting them into paying clients, right? So just kind of consider, followers in order to what? And if you're thinking that my follower count is not high enough, consider what those numbers are based on. Like if you have 20 followers and you don't think that's high enough, like what would be high enough? Would 200 be high enough? Would 2,000 be high enough? And how do you know? Like, what are you basing those numbers on, right? It's a little bit similar to the conversation we often see breaking out in the communities around the Peon calculator. I did my Peon calculator report and my calories are too high. Too high for what, right? Like based on what? Like where is that mathematics come from? Like that's where we kind of go back and challenge our own reasoning, right? Because chances are you don't have a marketing agency behind you who has done all the complicated calculations and has announced that your follower count is too low, right? It's really just our own stories. And most of the time it's an explanation and kind of a bit of an cop out. Well, you know, I only have 20 followers. What does that mean? You only need like 10 clients, 20 clients.
Sounds like a big enough pool there. Oh, we have like 5 more minutes left for today. Any final comments or questions before we sign off for today? That's not really snuck up on me there. With creating a homepage, is this specifically for, are you looking for someone who does this professionally, like you want someone to design it for you, or looking for just resources, Mona, on how to design a homepage?
I have no idea. Yes, for the beginning, maybe resources just to have a look, but also someone to really help doing this.
Oh, now are you talking about a website?
Yeah, a website.
So
Yeah.
if you keep an eye out on our Coaches Connect schedule, I'm bringing on someone to co-host a Coaches Connect with me in early August. Her name is Sin, and she will be talking specifically about building websites for coaches, both on how to do it yourself, how to do it from a template, and how to get someone else to do it, right? Like, because there's going to be a big range of do it myself for free, do it for a couple $100, and do a custom project website. So that might be a helpful call for you, Mona.
If I want to make it next week, for example, where can I find somebody to make it for me?
If you want to make the website next
Yes,
week,
yes.
so I think then your easiest would be either doing it yourself from scratch with website like Wix.com, or going on Fiverr and getting someone to build it for you, probably somewhere between $200 and $700 would be my guess. Will be like a range for a basic from template built for you website. Jared, what do you think? Would you concur with like those links and estimates from what you've seen?
Yeah, like Wix, Squarespace would probably be the ones that I would suggest. There are probably other, if you search like website builder, there'll probably be a dozen that show up with various price points and stuff like that, and different functionality. If you were looking for an example of what a homepage would look like, uh, again, shameless plug for ProCoach. It comes with a done for you sales page that is essentially just a sales page. It looks very passable, it looks very professional. It contains a whole bunch of information on how to contact you, as well as pricing if you want to share your pricing online. I would encourage you to sign up for the demo of ProCoach if you haven't tried it as yet, just to take a look at it says your ProCoach at the top, and it takes you to the done for you sales page. And you can see all the elements of what a homepage would contain. It doesn't have a really like abundant functionality, like you can't take payments or schedule calls through it, but you can at least see what a high quality homepage would look like, and then decide what elements you want to contain in your own homepage.
I think I would like that somebody would do it for me. I don't want to bother my head also with this problem.
That is fair. Hey, this is a problem that you can certainly throw money at. What would likely help you is to find some professionals who are doing something similar to what you do, and then have those web pages handy so that you can give to the professional of your choice and say, hey, this is the aesthetic that I'm looking for. This is the functionality that I'm looking for. What would be a price quote here? That should save you a little bit of back and forth.
And Mona, just noticed that Ronald also suggested to put you in touch with someone that he knows personally.
Yes.
So if you two wanted to just quickly exchange like emails or something like that, then that might be another kind of a personal contact way to go.
I just write my email here because.
Perfect. So there is Ronald's email there.
Okay, I just made a
Thank
copy.
you for offering, Ronald. I appreciate always.
Thank you.
Oh,
Enjoy.
connection is always appreciated.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's what we do at Coaches Connect calls.
I want to make a comment on Kate. I see that she has level 5 listening skills. Active listening skills. So I want to
Mhm.
commend you for that. I acknowledge that. It seems like to me, and I could be wrong, seems like you are here to disrupt people's patterns of how they think about things and how they view certain things. So I appreciate that.
It's just a t-shirt.
Yeah. Oh, it's very nice. Was very nice. I'll also start with a client. As Kate explained, with the client with 3 months and so on, I will just give it a try. Yeah, thank you.
Sounds good. And yeah, just before we close out for today, just a heads up, our next call is next week on Wednesday at 11 a.m. and it's Coach Kate, and you're joined by Mike. I cannot remember Mike's last name.
Milner, yes, I'm gonna be joined
Mike
by
Miller.
Milner, and that's gonna be a great conversation. So I hope you guys can come.
All right, team. Have a good day, and then we'll see you at the next one. Cheers.